everyone. Hopefully I'm not standing between you and lunch, but if I am, I'll try to be speedy. Thanks for having me here today. Before we get started, I'm going to ask for some participation. I personally hate crowd participation when I'm in the crowd, but it is what it is. If everyone would raise their hand for me, everyone. I can see you. I know there's a lot of bright lights, but I can see you. Keep it up for a moment. Since you've been in this conference, if you have not checked your Twitter account, FaceTimed someone, used Facebook, checked LinkedIn, used a Lyft or an Uber, or sent someone money, keep your hand up. So the good news is you're not alone. The reason I do that is because if I was here 10 years ago, you'd have a very different outcome. And it's just a really quick way to demonstrate how different the world is today than what it was before. And the reason is because in today's world, people move from augmented and virtual reality into reality constantly. I don't know, does anyone here know the game Fortnite? Is that a big thing here? Anyone? My last conference, people were screaming. They were so excited. I personally don't play it, but I have 2 children who do. And I joke all the time with my children, and I say, Fortnite's not reality. You're in reality right now, do your homework. But the point I bring up is that you move between these 2 lives, and different generations do it more than we ever knew. Physical is becoming digital, and digital is becoming physical as well, especially in the world of commerce and how you interact with your consumers, and what you're doing, and how you interact, and what they expect from you. People are creating a custom digital journey every day. That is happening right now. And so what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is about what that means. So you have your own custom digital journey. You know, you go out on your day. Maybe you take an Uber or a Lyft to your next meeting or to visit a friend. Maybe you go grab lunch with somebody, and you know, randomly they don't have any cash on them. So you pick it up and they'll pay you back later, but those days are over, right? Because now you can say, leveraging different platforms, and why don't you just send me that money now? I'll go ahead and charge it, and then you can just send me the cash real time. And this is how the world is coming together. Those are just 2 very standard, not cool and sexy ideas of how physical and digital come together. But you also have, all kinds of things. You can shop on a Windows store. You can shop within augmented reality. You have the Internet of Things. Maybe it be your Fitbit, where you can tap and pay. Right? Canada has a great contactless footprint. All different use cases that you can leverage. And why does that matter? It's because people have their own journey, both digital and physical. And what MasterCard is here to do is to figure out how we are where the consumers are. How do we make sure, regardless of how they want to pay for something and what they want to do, it's streamlined, secure, easy to understand? That's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. That's what we do every day. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what the differences are. So today in the physical world, you show up, you make a payment, leveraging EMV, chip PIN, contactless. It's a safe, secure transaction that's clear and clean, and you know how to make that work. But the reality is, in the digital world, we still have a little bit of room. I can tell you that that's the case, and I can guarantee you anyone in this room will support me if they can remember the last time you were in a rush. You had to buy something. I don't know what it is. So Sunday's Mother's Day. Maybe you didn't get your wife anything for Mother's Day, or your mother. And you're in a rush. You're trying to do something. And you open your mobile phone. And you're trying to get your name in there, your address, your billing zip code, your credit card, your CVV. Oh, but wait, the browser just flickered. You got to start again. Right? That's not the user experience people want, especially in a digital world. And what about fraud, right? It's almost ironic. So we have all of this technology in the digital world, and lots of the fraud that is present is in the digital world. And that's why we have some opportunities to enhance that, to make it more similar to what people are used to in the physical world. Because consumers aren't thinking, oh, I'm buying this in the physical world. Oh, no, wait, I'm buying this in the digital world. That's not an active dialogue a consumer has with themselves. They just want to get what they want. And I bring that up because I'm laying out that there are some opportunities to be better in the digital world. There are also some great use cases that all of you use today. Card on file, You're in an app or you're with a merchant you're used to using, and you decided to leave your card there. Pretty seamless experience. Third-party wallets. You have your card in a third-party wallet. You know how to use it. It works across a couple merchants. Also a pretty good experience. But not every consumer chooses to do that. Not every consumer wants to leave their card with every merchant or even put their card in a wallet. Those are important use cases. And there'll be more use cases I'm not mentioning. But it's important that there are additional opportunities for users to have what they need in a digital and physical world that are safe and secure. So today, MasterCard has lots of assets that are supporting this infrastructure. One is MasterPass. That's a container, if you will, where you can hold your credentials for a consumer, put your card number, so that you can use it at multiple merchants. We have something called MasterCard's Digital Enablement Service and 3DS 2.0, which are ways that you can make sure every transaction is safe and secure. We have the Internet of Things and an Express program. So the Internet of Things is making every device a commerce device. The reality is, as we continue with these use cases, if you think about connected car, right, being able to buy things in your car, if you think about conversational commerce, if you think about your Fitbit, so when you're running, you can pay, that's all of an Internet of Things. And then we have a program behind that that makes it easy for you in a business way to also participate. And then we have MasterCard Send and VocaLink. What that's about is making sure that consumers and businesses can send money as fast as possible, real time, in a way they choose. So we have these great infrastructural assets that help us solve some of the problems we're talking about. But we're one entity. So what we've recently announced is our support for something called the Secure Remote Commerce Standard. It's an EMVCo standard that was announced, it's a framework, that was announced last fall. And it's this idea of taking what we know as a best practice in the physical world, which is about a streamlined consumer, ubiquitous, and consistent experience that is secure at every transaction, protects the consumer's privacy, and ensures transparency to the consumer on how they're paying for things, and bringing it to the digital world. That's what this is doing. It's called the Secure Remote Commerce Framework by EMVCo, SRC. You'll hear it referenced often. And what we've recently announced is that we'll support that as the MasterPass checkout mechanism. The vision here is that in the digital world, when you go to checkout at a merchant, that you'll have one common, consistent checkout experience, regardless of which network or partner you're using, because it's an open platform. Open standard platform. It's about bringing what we know in the physical into the digital. So if you think about it, the last time you went into a merchant, you didn't walk up there and say, hey, could you pull out your MasterCard terminal? I'm gonna pay with a MasterCard. It seems ridiculous when I say it like that, but that's what's happening in the digital world today. So we've announced our support for that about 2.5 weeks ago. The other reason we announced our support for that is because there's something called tokenization. So for people who aren't in payments, all a token is it's replacing what's on the plastic card, the number on the plastic card, with a new number, and then attaching dynamic data and a cryptogram. That's all it is. It's just making what's on the plastic card useful in the digital world, leveraging the technology we have. Why does that matter, though? It matters because that's the most secure transaction you can get. If a fraudster gets a hold of that token, they can't do anything with it. The data is rendered useless. Most secure transaction, 1. 2, when you have a token in the digital world, it completely removes the linkage to the plastic card, meaning if you lose your plastic card, if it expires and you get a new one, the token in the digital world can still live in a safe and secure way. So great lifecycle management. I don't know, anyone here watch Netflix? Anything on Netflix? If you raise your hand, anyone? Okay, so imagine if you're watching, you're waiting for the new episode of Stranger Things. It's coming on, you're super excited, all geared up, and your car is reissued, so you go to watch it and your membership doesn't work because your card didn't work. Your membership is no good. That's like catastrophic for some people if you like Stranger Things. The token will make sure that never happens. I bring up Netflix because Netflix uses tokens for card on file because of this lifecycle management. But the other two components of the token that are really important, and I personally don't feel like are talked about enough, is that, today is a time of trust with your consumer. It's a time where your consumer expects that you are going to respect them, their data, and their privacy. And what a token does is it allows you, consumers, to make payments in all kinds of environments, third-party wallets, commerce platforms, merchants, in this new secure remote commerce, in a way where their data is still protected and that the data that's being used for the payment is being used for what it's meant to be used for, not other things. It's really important. It's really important. Consumers expect and they trust you, especially if you're a bank. Mostly if you're a bank. They expect that you are going to respect their privacy and protect their data. And tokens are the most efficient way to do that. Really important. And so we see this secure remote commerce framework not only as streamlining the customer experience, making it more consistent to what they're used to in the physical world globally, but we also see it securing every transaction. We see it protecting consumers' privacy. We see it helping keep it transparent to the consumer that, in fact, they know which card they're paying for that item for. People care. People want to know. They want it to be easy and seamless, but they want to know that they're paying with the card they thought they were paying with when they buy something in the digital world, just like they do in the physical. And that's why we're going to support the framework. And it's also why we're working actively to make a call to the industry to say we want to get to a token-only world. That is how we protect our consumers. That is how we help with consumer choice. MasterCard continues to and will always enable the entire ecosystem. We will help third-party wallets and digital partners and merchants and banks make sure their consumers can pay any way they want, but it's our responsibility to make sure we're offering the best customer experience through consumer choice, because it's about consumer choice, that every transaction's secure, that it's transparent, and that data is protected, privacy. That's our function. And that's why we continue to invest in secure and seamless transactions. So I talked a lot about SRC and the framework, and I talked about it being very similar to the physical world. And just to show you quickly, this isn't a new phenomenon, right? We started with swipe, chip, and PIN, mobile contactless. It makes sense to just roll into the digital world. And so we've been very active in asking the industry to support this moving forward. But before I move on, I have a very quick video I want to show you. It's not just about the payment. It's what I've talked a lot about today, because it's a payments forum. But it's also about the consumer journey. So imagine a time where you're a customer and you go to your banking app. And in your banking app, you see everywhere you have your card, whether it be in your Fitbit, your car, your thermostat, your 5 favorite merchants, your 2 favorite third-party wallets. Doesn't matter. You see it all from your mobile banking app provided to you from your bank. You know everywhere your card is. You can control how you use it there. You can turn tokens on and off, all coming to you from your bank, because you trust your bank. And they're helping you make sure commerce is easy. And within that, you have your rewards programs. Maybe you have a budget tool, whatever you want to offer your consumer. Because MasterCard's a B2B2C company. We develop assets so that our customers can differentiate themselves with consumers and make sure that their consumer has a specific digital journey that they want, the digital journey for that person. Because that's what it's about. Commerce is about being where the consumer is. And for us, it's about our banks, our merchants, our digital partners, and everyone in between, making sure they have the assets to provide that for the now and also for the future. So with that, I'd like to kick off the video. So with that, I'll leave this. As an industry, I think consumers expect choice from us, consumer choice. They expect us to come together and give them the digital journey they want. They expect us to innovate for the future. They expect us to know what's coming 10 years from now, whether we do or not, but we should have the infrastructure ready. So it's my ask that we work together and from a commerce perspective and give the consumers what they wish. That's all I have. Thank you for your time.